All right. All this week we're doing what is really happening in the Middle East and what are the connections and what does it mean to you here. Please DVR this program every night and write down the information, please, and share it with friends. The Muslim Brotherhood is what we've been talking about tonight. Tomorrow, the radicals here in America that are operating as Marxists and communists that are in support of this. But the Muslim Brotherhood isn't just operating overseas. We're not done with them yet. We showed you in their own words that their goals include the transformation of America into an Islamic state, the destruction of the Western world. Well, I want to show you their branches or spin-offs that they've created, operating in the United States. We have the Muslim Students Association, North American Islamic Trust, Islamic Society of North America, the American Muslim Council, the Muslim American Society. I can tell you why none of these things are on the board, and I can tell you why nobody is saying this, because I know all too well what kind of heat it will bring and undue influence and pressure. I mean, I can't have any more enemies than I have already, but that's the truth. Here in America, they are spreading their influence here through these organizations and internationally. Let me show you where they are all over the world. This, again, is a group that wants a global caliphate and the destruction of the Western world. You have them in Egypt and Algeria, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Sudan, Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, Kuwait, us, and the UK. All of it. According to Global MB report, there's also Canada, almost all countries in the EU, Brazil, Argentina, South Africa, and Nigeria. As the press continues to report on all the pro-democracy efforts by this group, a phrase is being used in the context of this conflict that jumped out at me. You've heard it several times, and quite honestly, it's two words that I warned you about, because there's two meanings to this word. There's the really happy, Jesus wants me to go help people, Allah wants me to go help people, and then there is the caliphate or the totalitarian government that says, no, no, I'm telling you to help people. It's called social justice. Look.
They have to listen to the people, listen to them quickly. A new Egypt that is democratic, that's based on social justice.
Defend the right of the Egyptian for their universal values, freedom, dignity, social justice.
Legitimate needs for democracy, social justice.
Okay. Mubarak just said it an hour ago. He'll be gone in September, but until then, he will be making sure there's social justice. Be careful. It's being used for good, but it also is used to mask an agenda. Why would anybody claim that anyone is masking an agenda? I don't know. Read Van Jones Group's words. That's what they do. That's what they have to do. Read The Coming Insurrection. That's what they say they have to do. Mask. I'll let you decide which context this is. This is the shill for Iran. Is he using it in, a bad one, or is this just a catchy phrase, catchy campaign slogan, or does he mean it in the good way? I don't know. There's one other slogan that has jumped out at me as well. They were promoting the January 25th, the Friday protests, and they came up with a little title in advance for them. Did you happen to catch what it was called? Friday, this was called the Day of Rage. Because I have read all about the Marxists and the revolutionaries in America, I recognize the Day of Rage. Where have you heard that before? Oh yeah, that's right. We heard it before in the 1960s with Bill Ayers and the Weather Underground. That's when they had the violent student riots in the 1960s. That was the Day of Rage. Weather Underground talks about it in the Weather Underground's works. Huh, coincidence? By the way, Day of Rage, wasn't Francis Fox Piven recently just saying, where's the rage, where's the outrage, where's the anger? You've got to get out on the streets and have riots and embrace your anger. Why would anyone, can you imagine if the Tea Parties called for a day of rage, what would be said? Something's wrong. Why in the world would Bill Ayers and Bernardine Dorn even care about Egypt at all? Oh, they do, care deeply. Another connection. Next. Here's a question I'm guessing no one will ever ask. Why were Bernardine Dohrn and Bill Ayers terrorists in the Weather Underground, and Code Pink founder Jody Evans involved with the Muslim Brotherhood during the Gaza flotilla? Ayers and Dohrn organized an effort to bring political pressure to bear on the Mubarak regime and Israel to allow for the aid from Hamas, which is the Muslim Brotherhood, to be delivered through Egyptian checkpoints. Remember, Ayers and Dohrn participated in the Weather Underground 1969 Days of Rage in Chicago. Last Friday's rioting in Egypt was dubbed by the Muslim Brotherhood Days of Rage. What a coincidence. Remember when we talked about that flotilla, how tense the world was. Evans and Code Pink lobbied Mubarak's wife for assistance, as well as the U.S. Embassy in Cairo. Guess who else was a strong supporter of the flotilla? The Muslim Brotherhood. Code Pink seems pretty darn cozy with the Muslim Brotherhood. Can you imagine a terrorist organization? You imagine if any of us were cozy with Hamas? Taking out a banner. They've gone so far as taking up banner ads on the Muslim Brotherhood's official English language website. Now, I want you to see this, because I don't even know what to think. I've never heard this kind of language before. This is disturbing. War arrests. Arrest the war criminals. Join us in cleansing our country. Cleansing our country? What does that even mean? I mean, cleanse the bathtub? Cleanse the kitchen floor, maybe? Cleanse my clothes? But cleanse my country? Am I the only one that thinks that makes you think of ethnic cleansing? I've never heard anybody. Cleanse the country? What does that even mean? That's disturbing. But remember, this is coming from a group who is friends with former Weather Underground members. And on tomorrow's program, we will show you how they meant cleansing back in the 1960s. Because they did. They talked about killing 25 million Americans who just wouldn't get it. I don't know if Code Pink is thinking that. But Code Pink is not shy about its support for Hamas. The group bragged that Hamas terrorists guaranteed their safety in Gaza. I thought Code Pink was anti-war, anti-violence. Hamas? What are they doing with terrorists like Hamas? It's interesting to note a few other leftists who seem somewhat involved in what's happening in Egypt. Believe it or not, Wade Rathke, the Acorn guy, and Drummond Pike of the Tides Foundation are both on the board of the Organizers Forum. This is a forum that was planned to host their fall 2011 international dialogue in Egypt, where they will meet with labor and community organizers and other activists in Cairo. I'm sure they're there for social justice. That's it. What a coincidence. Wade Rathke even put on his website, or this is actually not Wade's website, this is the coalition's, the forum's website. It says, exciting changes and developments are currently taking place in Egypt, with elections coming soon to determine leadership transitions in what has been an autocratic regime now challenged by the Muslim Brotherhood, and succession and democracy issues. Coincidence just don't seem to stop. Why would Rathke and Pike plan a big get-together in Egypt? Maybe the flights to Cairo are cheaper than the flights to Vegas. I don't know. Maybe they've always wanted to see the pyramids. Or maybe they're sowing the seeds of unrest, because global revolution is what they're looking for. Wade Rathke, on his blog, he wrote this about Egypt. But in the meantime, keep your running shoes handy and in good repair. The streets are on fire, and we need to keep our feet in shape so the dogs can keep barking. Oh, but we've heard from the new guy that wants to be. I mean, come on, Iran is clean. There's no weapons of mass destruction there. Iran is totally, they're not going for nukes. That guy. We've heard from him. The Muslim Brotherhood is not extreme. I know. We talked about that earlier in the show. And here's a list of their organizations and friends, just to put your mind at ease. Some of the organizations and friends, of course, are, Muslim Students Association. You certainly You certainly want to influence our kids, get into the universities. The Holy Land Foundation. Remember the trial in Dallas where they were found guilty of funneling $12 million to Hamas? Well, during the trial, many incriminating documents were entered into evidence. I showed you this one earlier. This is one of them. An explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal for the group in North America, written by the Muslim Brotherhood operative and published in 1991. The strategic goal, quote, establishing an effective and stable Islamic movement led by the Muslim Brotherhood, which adopts Muslim causes domestically and globally, presents Islam as a civilization alternative, and supports the global Islamic State wherever it is. Just the necessary ingredients on the way to a caliphate. We have religious zealots who have made it their goal to take down, according to their own documents and their own words, to take down the Western way of life, coupled with American leftists who have made it their mission, their whole life, to take down the Western way of life. Some are terrorists, well, and some are terrorists. Some are just really good at business and propaganda. They both speak the same language, and they both have the same goal. Not a caliphate, but control. Revolution and control. You don't believe me? I don't really care. Do your own homework. Don't trust me on anything. Do your own homework. Go to glennbeck.com and look all of it up. You don't believe our research? Go find it yourself. Earlier this week, Code Pink and Common Cause hosted a demonstration, I think it was in Palm Springs, California. I want you to listen to the guy who attended the Code Pink rally where Van Jones had just spoken. Listen.
Revolution now! Right. Revolution now! What's happening now in Egypt? Same thing needs to happen here.
That was edited too tightly. He was asked by the reporter, what do you mean by revolution? And he said, oh, you know exactly what I mean. Revolution now. No, that would be a very bad idea. Isn't that inciting violence? Why is no one covering this? More next.